What is up, you guys? Mastercars if you're here, and today we're back at BMW Lebanon. Check out the new 2020 BMW 7 Series. Let's get inside. And this is it, guys, the 2020 BMW 7 Series. I am a big fan of this front fascia. I mean, it looks really aggressive. Imagine seeing this on the streets. You have this massive kidney grille. It's 40% larger than the previous generation, and I think it looks killer, especially in person. I really like the way it goes up through the hood. And of course, it's an active kidney grille, so it opens when the engine needs cooling. And speaking of cooling, since the kidney grille is now way larger, down below you don't have much grille. I really like the way this bumper is designed, going through these beautiful LED headlights. You can get laser lights in the new 7 Series. It's an optional extra. What people seek in the 7 Series is very different from other BMW models. Remember, the 7 Series is a luxury limo owned by very important people. They choose to ride in a 7er to give an impression of grandeur. BMW have facelifted the new 7 to suit just that. It's the huge kidney grille that gives this towering impression of pride and greatness like no other. It's this feeling of fulfillment that hits you deep when you open the doors and get out of what you think defines your background. It's sometimes all too much responsibility for just a 140 grand BMW, but you'll find out that it does a great job in offering what you'd expect from the brand's flagship car and being ahead of its rivals in this bijou of a segment. Now, getting into the interior of the new 7 Series. Now, obviously, there's a lot to talk about in here. It's BMW's most luxurious sedan, and it actually feels it. I mean, we reviewed lately the X7, which is BMW's flagship SUV, and I said before that it's an uplifted 7 Series, but to be honest, sitting in the 7 Series, it feels more luxurious than the X7. I mean, the way you have this very bright metal in the cabin, this screen that you got on the climate control. We saw the same seats in the X7, and they're so comfortable with the headrest. They cushion you really nice. And just look at the sheer luxury of this car. I mean, the wood, the leather, the high quality leather, the two displays. I mean, wow. First impressions sitting in this car, it's actually really overwhelming. Wow. Really good. And then coming on to the steering wheel in the 7 Series, as you can see, it's the same steering wheel that you saw in the X7 and the X5. And I'm a big fan of these aluminum bits that you've got around the steering wheel. Makes it look way more expensive with the stitchings that you've got right here. You have aluminum paddle shifters behind that. And then your 12.3-inch instrument cluster. Now this is the plug-in hybrid, so as you can see, you have the eDrive badging right there. Then you have the 10.2-inch infotainment screen in the front. And as you know, guys, I love this infotainment screen. Just fast and responsive. You can go throughout all the menus. I mean, through car, for example, vehicle status and all that. It's a really good system. Two-air vents. Now, a cool thing I want to show you guys that I haven't seen in other BMW cars is that when you turn on the climate control, which is now a screen right here, you can see how these light up, and you've got the cold and hot air. Let's just turn that off. Then you have your shortcut buttons, also touch sensitive, as you can see right now. And then it's all with the aluminum bits all around the cabin. And look at this. I mean, in other cars it was all blacked out or carbon fiber, depending on which car you have. But here it's like this brushed aluminum, which looks really good. You have the old gear shifter, not the no updated one, because as you know, this is a facelifted 7 Series, not a brand new model. And then you have your driving modes, and since it's a plug-in hybrid, so you've got a hybrid button right here, traction control button, and all these standard stuff that you have with like a battery button right here, so you can check your battery control. Then we have air suspension in the car, so you can lower or higher the car, so there's that. And checking out the storage space in the 7 Series, right here you have two cup holders with a 12-volt power outlet, USB port, and wireless phone charging, which is now standard in the new 7 Series. The interior luxury in the 7 Series is like no other in any BMW, and it's in this car that you remember the family ties with Rolls-Royce. It's not only about the features offered, but the attention to detail that changes everything and how these luxuries are presented in such car. It's this combination of cognac Napa leather and bright aluminum finishes which gives it this clean and expensive ambience. Of course, the two high-quality displays are standard with gesture control and updated voice commands. Now the car we have today is the 745LE, which is the longer wheelbase. In the United States there is no L naming, they dropped that, but it's still the long wheelbase. They do not get the standard versions, but that makes for more legroom. Checking out the trunk in the 7 Series, of course it's a power lift gate. It's actually pretty decent size, as you can see. And then below that you have more storage space, and you can put it down below so you can put more stuff. So there's that. Closing that up. Now let's go ahead and check out the back seat of the 7 Series. Now I'm jumping into the 7 Series. Would you look at the amount of legroom that you have? I mean, look, I just stick my feet there. I'm 185 centimeters, so I mean, legroom is just silly. I mean, you have a lot of legroom. And then would you look at the size of this door? I mean, look how it goes from here till there. It's really comfortable. You just put your hand in, and then you have these nice buttons for the shades and window commands and all of that. You have a small cubby space here with a door handle, a small ashtray right here, which you open like this. Then you have the speakers, Harman Kardon sound system. You have an air vent, lighting in the back. I mean, it's a whole new ambience. I mean, it's my first time reviewing a 7 Series, and it's absolutely huge. You also have 2 air vents right here with your commands for the climate control, with a small cubby space right here. And you open up below that, you have a 12-volt power outlet. Let's close that up. And then coming on to the armrest, you have a tablet to control all sorts of stuff, and then you can turn it on from this turn button right here. And if you want to remove it, you just press this button. It's gonna lift it up, and you've got yourself the tablet to control. Now it's opened the camera, I don't know, for whatever reason. We have the sticker, so we won't be checking out much, but I mean, there's that. Let's just put that back in. You have the adjustments for the seats, recline them and all that. It's all the stuff that you would need in such a luxurious car. And you can obviously spice up the rear in the 7 Series. You can get rear massaging seats and all of that. It's a $14,000 option, as I've seen on the configurator. It's quite an expensive option, but you get all sorts of options with it. You have this 2-part sunroof, as you can see. It gets the light really good in the cabin. Headroom, it's actually pretty good. Like this bit of headroom, it's amazing. And I honestly cannot convey to you how comfortable the seats are. I mean, you would expect that obviously in the 7 Series, but I mean, you could obviously spend hours and hours in this car. You just sit down, relax, put your feet in, and it's really comfortable. And you can actually see the details. You've got a mirror, so you can check that. I mean, all sorts of luxuries in the rear, and you have also illuminated door sills, as you can see down below, with the ambient lighting that you choose in the car. If you want to have 3 people sitting in the back, this part can just be stored right there, and you can have a 3rd person sitting here. I'm gonna sit down, and of course you have a huge hump, but I mean, since you have a lot of legroom, I mean, it's not gonna be a problem having your 2 feet on the side. So there's that. Really nice details that you only get to see when you actually sit in the car and just start realizing what you have in the cabin. And then you look at this beautiful BMW interior. Let me just show you that. I mean, look how luxurious it is. I mean, from the inside, it's just like a Rolls Royce. To be honest, if it weren't for the BMW badges, it's really upmarket. I'm a big fan of the interior. The new 7 Series comes standard with an extensive list of options, such as the 6-color ambient lighting, 2-axle air suspension, soft closed doors, panoramic sunroof, Harman Kardon sound system, as well as other comfort and safety features. Something I find quite cool is the carbon core badging on the B-pillar. BMW uses carbon fiber reinforced plastic along with aluminum and high-strength steel to offer a strong yet lightweight chassis. Now to turn on the car, it's actually really easy, and it's also silent because we're in a plug-in hybrid. So just put your foot on the brake and hit this button to go, and the car is now on. I'm going to be scrolling a bit through the audio system. As you can see, this beautiful controller. Now, I don't know why it's not in glass. I wished they would have this in crystal glass, but I mean, maybe it's not an option on this facelifted 7 Series. So let's go ahead and try to check out the ambient lighting. I'm going to start with car. I think it's going to be right here. Settings. Let's go to displays, doors, interior lighting. There we have it. So the color we're going to go for, let's see, blue, because blue is the most showing. There you have it. Wow. Look at the beautiful ambient lighting. Now, if you guys watched my review of the X4, I actually test the ambient lighting in that car, and driving it at night actually superb. I mean, the ambient lighting changes the whole ambience at night, just makes it more colorful, if you can say that. And of course, since it's the larger BMW screen, you get the gesture control, which you shut like this. You wanna change the radio, for example, just go like this. As you probably know by now, we're checking out the 745LE plug-in hybrid. It gets a 3-liter inline 6, which makes 286 horsepower, combined with 113 electric horsepower to produce a good 394 horsepower and 600 Nm of torque. You get as standard an 8-speed auto, and the electric range of this particular version is 52 to 55 kilometers. It needs 5.2 seconds to reach 100 kilometers an hour. I gotta be honest with you guys, I never was a major fan of big luxurious cars. I'm more inclined towards small sporty coupes. After checking out the new 745LE more in depth, I started to think that every family should have one. I have an E90 328i, and the backseat isn't the ideal place to ride in for long drives. So imagine you're a family of 4 going on a road trip or whatever, but instead of being cramped in a 3 Series, you have ridiculous amount of legroom and high-class luxury in 7 Series. Now I know the 7 Series isn't for everyone, and the 3 is more of a better all-arounder, but if money isn't a problem, and you go for the new 7, you'll not understand why you've never had one of these in your garage. So guys, I guess I'll be ending it right here in the backseat of the new 7 Series. If you guys are interested in seeing my series of the 2019 BMW models, in which we did the X5, X7, 8, 3, and the Z4, all the links will be in the description box below. And I'd like to give a big thanks and shout out to BMW Lebanon for always hooking us up with these brand new cars. If it's the first time you come here, please subscribe, and take care everybody. See you soon.